Good morning, students. Today's topic is also continuation of chapter number 7, Lifelines of National Economy from Geography. And today I will discuss with you two topics. Number 1 is waterways and number 2 is airways. Okay. So, my dear student, as you all well known about the transportation system by the waterways, and this is the very oldest and also cheapest mode of transportation in all over the world. And even whatever be Indian commerce and culture are spreading in all over the world, and also many scholars and traders came in India. They came with the help of waterways, and also waterways are most suitable for carrying very heavy and bulky goods, and also people from one region to another region, and also from one country to another country. And whatever fuel efficient and environment friendly mode of transport is waterways anyhow. And India has inland navigation waterways of 14,500 kilometer in length. And students, here I want to clear one point in front of you, that inland water transportation means the movement of goods and services by waterways within a country. Okay. And out of these only 3,700 kilometers are navigable by mechanized boats. It means only 3,700 kilometer area of water in which mechanized boats are moving from one region to another region with goods and services and also people. And students, in India, the following waterways have been declared as the national waterways by the government of India, in which number 1 is the Ganga river between Allahabad and Haldia, and covering 1620 kilometers and known as National Waterways number 1. Okay. And number 2 is the Brahmaputra river between Sadia and Dhubri, which is covering 891 kilometers and known as National Waterways number 2 or NW number 2. Okay. And third one is the West Coast Canal in Kerala, Kottapuram, Koman, Udyogamandal and Champakkara canals. And the length of these canals among these regions is 205 kilometers, and this is known as NW number 3 or National Waterways number 3. And as well as in India, another inland waterways which we can see in all over the India, and these are Godavari, Krishna, Barak, Sundarbans, Buckingham Canal, Brahmani, East-West Canal and Damodar Valley Corporation Canal, which are using for the movement of heavy and bulky goods within a country. Okay. And my dear students, near about 95% of the country's trade is moved by sea. It means whatever country's trade done by the India with other part of the world, that is done that is moving with the help of sea routes or with the help of waterways. And India's trade with foreign countries is carried from the ports located along the coast of India. Okay, so students, now I am going to discuss with you major seaports of India which are very helpful and working from the time of British for the transportation of heavy and bulky goods from one country to another part of the world also. So students, as you know very well that India has a long coastline of 7,516 kilometer, and India has 12 major and 181 medium and minor ports. And as I told you above that, these major ports of India handling near about 95% of India's foreign trade. Okay. So students, in this series, Kandla, which is located in Kutch, was the first port and developed just after independence of India to solve the problem of trade from the Mumbai port to another part of the world. And students, this is developed by Indian government because due to the partition of Pakistan, the important Karachi port divided or partitioned in Pakistan. That's why it is developed by Indian government to solve the problem of foreign trade. And India is an example of very good overseas trading system in all over the world by waterways, and Kandla is a tidal port. Okay, and Kandla is very important port because it is handling trade and business which is done by the Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan and Gujarat. And after that, Mumbai is the biggest port with a very spacious and natural well-sheltered harbour. And the Jawaharlal Nehru port was planned with a view to solve the problem of movement of goods and services by Mumbai port. And you know very well that Mumbai is a hub port of this region. It means Mumbai port is a very important port among all the ports of India. Major trade and business is also done by the Jawaharlal Nehru port of India. And after that, Marmagao, which is located in Goa, exporting iron ore from India to another part of the country. And New Mangalore port, which is located in Karnataka, export iron ore from the Kundermukh mines. And also Kochi is the very important southwestern port which is located at the natural lagoon and very important natural harbour using for overseas trade and business in all over the world. And students, another very important port which is located at the east coast of India, that is southeastern port of Tuticorin, and it is located in Tamil Nadu. And also this is a natural harbour and a very good center of the trading of goods and services by waterways from these ports, and also it is flourishing and trading a variety of cargoes near the neighboring countries of India like Sri Lanka and Maldives, and also coastal regions of India. After that, Chennai is also one of the oldest artificial ports of the country, and it has second place just after the Jawaharlal Nehru Seaport of Mumbai, and using this Chennai port for the trading and the movement of cargoes. And after that, next one is Vishakhapatnam port, which is the deepest landlocked and naturally well protected port, and this port is using for iron ore export to the other part of the world. After that, Paradip port, which is located in Odisha and very important, but this port is using for the export of iron ore, and Kolkata is also having a inland riverine port, and this port is also very important because it is located near the Ganga Brahmaputra basin and very important trading center, and it is also a example of very good tidal port. Okay. After that, in Kolkata, Haldia was another very important port which was developed as a subsidiary port to solve the and to prevent the pressure on the Kolkata port alone. Alright. So students, here explanation related to waterways and major seaports of India is completed. And now I am going to discuss with you airways. So students, you know very well that today we are living in modern world and everyone using fastest and comfortable and very prestigious mode of transportation, which is known as airways. And students, airways has many qualities and also have a very important place among all the kind of transportation system of India and also in all over the world, because those places of the world and especially India which are very difficult terrain like high mountain and desertic regions and dense forest, and also those regions of India which cannot access by bus or train, and also a very long oceanic stretches which we can cross with the help of airways. Okay. And students, in India we have international, domestic and also private airlines which are using by people to complete their journey within an hour in the compare of long journey. And also with the help of these airlines, people can reach to their destination with very less time. And in India, the air transport system was nationalized in 1953, and as I told you above, we have Indian Airlines and Alliance Air, which is also known as subsidiary of Indian Airlines, and also private scheduled airlines and non-scheduled provide domestic air services. And also In India, Air India provides international air services from one country to another country, and Pawan Hans Helicopters Limited provides helicopter services to oil and natural gas commission to reach its offshore operation over the ocean. And also in India, rich people having helicopters for their personal use, and students, small airlines and helicopters are very important to reach the inaccessible areas and difficult terrain like northeastern states of India, in which and also the interior parts of Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttaranchal, etc. Okay, students, it means just simply I want to saying that with the help of airlines and helicopters, people in India even can reach those places which place of India are totally inaccessible and out of reach of common people. Okay, so students, as I told you that Indian Airlines operations also extend to the neighboring countries of Southeast Asia and Middle East Asia, and air travel is not within the reach of the common people. So students, as you know very well that this is very expensive mode of transportation, that's why common people cannot use it and cannot utilize the services of airlines or helicopters. And in India, you know very well that the northeastern part of India is very inaccessible, hilly, uneven and mountainous types of regions. That's why to reach people there, our Indian government reduces the cost of these airlines for the common people of India also. Okay, so students, on the basis of above example, you can differentiate that if waterways is very cheapest means of transportation, as well as airways is very costly and out of reach of common people, but maybe people can use in coming years with the help of different government policies. Okay, so students, here your explanation related to the waterways and airways is completed. Okay, and in my next explanation I will discuss with you communication and international trade and also tourism as a trade. Alright, so for today's that's all. Thank you and have a nice day.